Hi everyone, welcome to Color Art's Spring Educational Event. Today I'm excited to share with you that myself and 15 other Color Art affiliates will be presenting live videos to showcase several different ways in which you can use Color Art products. During this event, you'll have several chances to enter to win amazing prizes. The grand prize is a $400 Color Art shopping spree. Additionally, there will be 16 chances to enter to win a set of the new fluorescent Vivid Intense fluid acrylics, a $75 value. As you watch the event, you'll want to keep a closeful eye out for the secret word that is hidden within each of our spring educational event videos. To enter to win the grand prize, you will need to collect the secret word from each of the 16 videos that form a secret phrase. Once you have the secret phrase, simply visit the Color Art Education tab on Color Art's website to enter to win the grand prize drawing. To enter to win the new fluorescent Vivid Intense fluid acrylics, it's simple. All you need to do to enter is subscribe to the channel, click like, and comment on the video. If you're not watching this video during the live premiere, that's okay. You have until April 28th, 2023 to enter to win the drawing. On May 1st, a list of the winners of each of the 17 prizes given away during this event will be posted on Color Art's website. I'll be providing all the details for this giveaway and links to the 15 other Color Art affiliate videos in the description below. Stay tuned because I'll also be revealing my secret word for the grand prize later on in this video. Best of luck to all who enter. As many of you know, I'm absolutely obsessed with bright, shiny colors in general, but fluorescence and interference colors are my absolute favorites. Well, a few months ago, when I was playing with my Vivid Intense iridescent pearls set, it got me to thinking how awesome it would be if Color Art released a set of fluorescent Vivid Intense fluid acrylics. So I decided to mention my idea to Leslie to see if it was something she would consider adding to her Vivid Intense fluid acrylic line. I about fell over when I got a box in the mail about a month later with the first testers of the new Vivid Intense fluorescent fluid acrylics. In today's video, I thought it would be a lot of fun if I shared some of the colors from the fluorescent set. So I chose red violet, coral, yellow, blue-green, and periwinkle, and I chose to do it with a playing card swipe, honestly, on one of the most challenging surfaces to paint on that I own, a wooden cutout of my state. Looking back at this decision, I'm not entirely sure what I was thinking when I chose the surface for testing out my new colors. In the past, I've had to scrape so many of the pores from these boards because there are so many small areas and edges and crevices that it's really hard to get them all covered in a way that looks visually appealing. So I was really happy when I made it to the end of this, and I absolutely love the way that it turned out. I really wanted it to kind of showcase like some of the, when I think of Alaska, I think of really bright colors come out in summer. And so I was just thinking how fun it would be to add in some really fun colors. So, you can use my coupon code ACOX422 on Color Art's website to save 20% off your order. When you're doing a card swipe, it's really important to make sure that you have as much of the background or like the area where you're putting your colors covered as possible. It just really helps make it bold and vibrant. I also, for some reason, find that yellow towards the bottom of a pour really stands out. So I always try to include that one towards the bottom. And then, as I've said several times in the past, with white backgrounds, I like to put my interference colors on the top because it really makes them stand out, and they just become more pronounced. So I had all my fluorescent colors on the bottom, and I was making sure that it was just really all over the canvas. And I also threw in my Prism Pour Miami Magenta and Triple Sec because those are both fluorescent colors. Unfortunately, Triple Sec was almost out, so I only got a little bit of it, but I was happy to actually get some. Um, I also chose to use my Shy Rose, which is one of my favorite interference pigments from the Dragonfly set. And of course, Interference Violet. You can't go wrong with Interference Violet. It just goes amazing over all of my swipes. And when I use a black background, I tend to put it on the bottom because it really just helps the pour stand out. Another one from the Dragonfly set that I really like is this Freesia. It's another one that really pops well in pours like this. And so when you're doing the card swipes, you want to make sure you have the right amount of your cell activator on your card. My cell activator is made with Amsterdam Lamp Black mixed with Australian Floetrol. Mixed 3 parts Australian Floetrol, 1 part Amsterdam Lamp Black. So when I'm using these cards, a lot of times I will just throw them in the bottom of my tray, and you can see them in the background. And I do that because I can reuse them later, but I don't want to turn around and accidentally smear white paint from my background paint onto my colors. But I can still reuse them, so I didn't want to waste them. Just in case you were wondering why there's a bunch of them on the bottom of my tray. So you want to be really you don't want to press too hard, but you also want to make sure like you have a very level pull when you are dragging your card across. And don't worry about if you have little stripes that go in between some of your swipes. You can always go back in later with a palette knife, or even you can take one of the playing cards and cut it up a little bit smaller, and you can swipe it in between, and I find that works really well. The hardest part that I had with swiping on this surface in particular was when I was trying to do the longer parts that extend out. And unfortunately, because of the way that I had this situated on my with my camera, unfortunately, you really don't get to see me swiping on those parts, but you can kind of see it doesn't quite react in the same manner. So there were several instances where I had to go back and revisit those areas, and I had to do that in previous experiences with making these particular pours because, like I said, the Alaska ones, they do seem to be extremely challenging, and so that's why I've had 8 of them in my closet for probably a year now and only just recently started using them. In case you didn't notice, the secret word is unlocks. So now I'm going in with my favorite palette knife. This is my absolute hands down favorite palette knife. I really can't find it in very many places, but it's got a rounded top, and it just seems to always be just the right size for all of my projects. So I actually own like 10 of them, and wouldn't you know it, I'm always looking for all 10 of them. So I always buy more every time I turn around. So as I'm doing this, I'm trying to make sure that I really coat the edges of my Alaska really well. Now, normally when I'm doing wooden surfaces, I tend to tape off my edges, and that works really well with like when you're doing a heart or a surface that actually has a lot of straight edges. When I was doing this Alaska, there was no way I was going to be able to tape it off. In fact, it was hard enough taping off the back of these Alaskas. Um, and so I really figured I had to make the edges look really nice, or at least decent. I'm now using my embossing tool to wreck my cells a little bit. And this just really adds some extra personality to my cells as they spin out. And I'm sure many of you already know this, but just in case. So as I was going, I really was trying hard to make sure that I didn't get all of my paint off of my surface before I wanted to coat my edges before I ran out of paint that was coming off of the edges of my surface. So as paint was coming off, instead of letting it fly off the edge of my spinner, I was going in between and kind of draping it around the edges. And then I got to a certain point where I needed a little bit of color that went with what I was scooping and pouring into those edges and crevices. So I went in with my Miami Magenta and kind of added some additional color in there, and that really actually worked well. In the past, I've actually gone around and managed to coat the entire edge in a different color, but that was with smaller Alaska cutouts. This one was just too big to do that with. Anyway, so this is how it turned out. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, please click like, and if you're not already, please consider subscribing. Thank you. Have a wonderful day, and don't forget to check out the other 15 Color Art affiliate videos that are a part of the spring educational event.